All right, let's do an update on the TikTok ban bill that is moving through Congress right now, otherwise known as the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act. Not a good name. Someone came up with that too fast and they needed to do better. Anyway, we are hearing that this bill is going to go to the full House floor for a vote tomorrow. Today's Tuesday. That'll be Wednesday. Word is that it has very wide support. Almost everybody is supporting this bill in the House right now. Now, I want to really emphasize that right now because things are changing very quickly and a giant new influence has entered the conversation. You guessed it, Donald Trump. So now we don't really know what's going to happen. And let me explain that. So the House so far has been solidly in support of this bill. To be fair, they have received some security briefings that we are not privy to, and there very likely is very great cause for concern about the current structuring of TikTok as a company. Regardless, however, they know something that has them all concerned, Democrats and Republicans across all, parts of the spectrum, and they all support this bill, which again does not ban TikTok. It forces the Chinese parent company of TikTok, ByteDance, to divest it and sell it to an American owner. So that is what it does. Not a ban, but it does effectively, possibly ban it if they refuse to sell. So it's supposed to pass in the House tomorrow. It would then go to the Senate and you would expect it to also pass there, except that everything has just gotten complicated. And this is the really interesting part and also kind of worrying part of this situation is that Donald Trump has just come out in the last 24 hours against the TikTok ban. Now, you may think, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, the big deal about that is that Donald Trump has been one of the loudest voices calling for a ban on TikTok ever since he got into politics, ever since TikTok was around, let's say. When he was president, he issued an executive order banning TikTok. It was never put into effect because it was, caught up in litigation. And when President Biden became president, he repealed that executive order. That's why we have never seen TikTok get banned so far. But Trump said repeatedly he supported such a ban. Chinese government couldn't be trusted. He was tough on the Chinese government. And, if anyone was tough on the Chinese government like him, they would ban TikTok. So what happened this week? Well, very important to remember that Trump is in an extremely vulnerable financial position. He has almost definitely lied about how much he's worth. And he has just been hit with not one, but two enormous financial settlements that he has to make, or at least show that he can make. So he is vulnerable to being exploited by outside influences. And it sounds like something like that happened this week. So we have a billionaire hedge fund guy named Jeff Yoss, many of you have heard of him, who owns a $33 billion stake in TikTok. So when this bill started getting real traction in Congress, Jeff Yoss, just in the last week, went to see Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. No one knows what they said, but shortly after Yoss left, Donald Trump got on social media and expressed that he had reversed his opinion. Has Donald Trump been purchased in some way by Jeff Yoss? We have no proof of it, but inferences can be made, and should, I believe. So now Trump has come out against this bill. So now senators, Republican senators, are beginning to sort of hedge their bets. They won't say whether they're for it or against it, probably because they're waiting for their master to tell them what to do. So while it will probably pass in the House, I'm going to tell you that its chances of then going and passing in the Senate feel really, really uncertain right now. And even were it to go to the Senate, were Chuck Schumer to agree to bring it to the floor, which he hasn't yet, and were it to pass, with Donald Trump yelling that his people have to oppose it, Biden, yes, probably would sign it into law, but it would then likely immediately be caught up in litigation again. All of that is to say, don't start packing your, social media bags yet and preparing for your next platform. I think the likelihood that this bill gets passed is slim. I think the likelihood that it gets implemented is slimmer still. I'm no expert, but there are a lot of things that are going to happen between now and the day when we all start looking at whatever platform comes next. So for now, I'm going to keep creating, and I hope you'll keep watching. And that's your update on the TikTok ban bill.